Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aspire Sports Show. Tyler, along here with I'm good.
Yeah,
with my co-host here, we got Kyle Giggs. Ryan is not here; he's working. He will be here for the show tonight. And I'm sorry if you did pop in, you're like, man, this is the Stefano stream. This is not the Stefano stream yet. Our next one for the San Francisco Buffalo, that is our Stefano stream. So if you want to hang out around still, we'd appreciate it. But this isn't Stefano yet. He'll be here live tonight. All right, so we're going to be talking about the Steelers game first. We're going to just talk about some player news. Not much, really. Really, this week was pretty good injury-wise. Let's knock on wood, because hopefully we don't have some injuries. I guess we still have 3 games left, so hopefully no big injuries in these 3 games, but injury-wise, hasn't been that bad. Let's talk about some of the headlines, though. Greg Williams is officially fired. I guess I can believe it, but how is Adam Gase not fired yet? Like, I don't understand that. Why is Greg Williams fired, but not Adam Gase? I guess he let up this. It was a terrible, which it was. It was a terrible call. We'll just call it as it is. But Adam Gase has been terrible all season. Let's not say he hasn't been terrible, because he's been god awful as well. So let's say that. So and then also, what was the other big thing I wanted to say real quick? Anthony Lynn is on the hot seat. So do you guys think he should be on the hot seat?
Absolutely. I'd fire him.
Do you think Adam Gase should be on the hot seat?
I think without a doubt he is on the hot seat.
You think he's
And
on the hottest of hot seats?
I don't know. See, Lynn's pretty bad. Like when you lose that bad and people are already talking about firing you, I don't know. I'd pull the trigger there first because at least Adam Gase has had some competitive games this. Like we all laugh at him, but they have had some competitive games, like against the Raiders just yesterday. They had a competitive game against New England in prime time. Now they don't have a win. I get it.
True.
And they've had a bunch of unfortunate things happen to them, but realistically, they both deserve to be fired. I just think Lynn makes the most sense just because of what just happened.
One more year for Adam, you think so? And Mark, actually, I did see your response. I guess I think I responded to it before the show, so apologize. But you're taking the advice. I hope it leads you in the right direction. I do think that Mostert, I think he's just a really good play today. And we'll kind of talk about that later, but I feel like his player props are really good right now. Like I love his rushing. His rushing's 53. The last I saw it might have gone up now. And then receiving's 11.5. I feel like that's way too low as well. Like I feel like both those numbers are really low. So I think he's gonna have a good game.
Why does Adam Gase deserve another year though? I don't understand that. Hold on, let me make sure I'm not muted. Yeah.
I'm not saying he
No, not you.
necessarily does.
My email in here, he said that in the chat. I'm just curious. He said another year, but like, why though? Like, what has he shown this year that you're like, yeah, he's still this? Like, they're terrible. There's other teams who have lost their starting quarterback and have still won games. So, like, I don't understand, like, with the issue with him. I think Sam Darnold is better than most, like Mike Glennon, is that his? Or, yeah, Mike. Is it Mike? Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Glennon.
Like the Jaguars actually are competitive with him, but the Jets can't win a game. I just don't see it. I don't know. Maybe there's something that underlying. Maybe it's Greg Williams and other coaches that the cast around him has made it more challenging for him and has made him look bad. Maybe that is the case, or maybe they just don't have the personnel, but. I don't know. Other teams figure it out and at least win a couple games. Going 0-12 to me is just inexcusable.
I need 72 from Mostert and Juju tonight. Say a prayer. I'll say a prayer for you.
I'll say a couple.
Oh man, that's gonna be really tough. It's doable. Maybe Mostert could. I mean, he's had a couple games where he has like 70-yard touchdowns. I feel like he could definitely. I don't think that the Buffalo defense is that good. I feel like their secondary is not bad. Their secondary is good, but their run defense I don't think is that good. So I could definitely see him take one to the house. Could take two to the house. Who knows? You never know. So let's go ahead and I guess real quick. Do you think that Greg Williams deserved to be fired right now? Like I get that
it's not like you can really like pin the blame on him for their lack of success. So
right.
I still see it as he was just like this sacrificial lamb. They're just like someone has to go after that. Like there needs to be some type of action. We can't just keep going, especially with a couple coaches already being fired from organizations that have a couple wins. Like Patricia got fired. He had 3 or 4 wins. Atlanta's coach got fired. So I think it was just them making an example of someone. And no, I don't think it was necessarily fair. But when you do an all-out blitz instead of a prevent at the end of the game like that,
right?
I mean,
it's easy to be the scapegoat.
You know you don't do that. You don't do that.
Right. No, I get it. I just feel like if you're not going to fire, like, why not just clean house then at that point? Like, why fire because it's not like your defense. Sure, your defense isn't that great, but at the same time, they just let go of Brian Poole and somebody else. I think
they traded Williamson.
What's his name? Not Brian Poole. Desir. They let go of Desir. So it's like you have no cornerbacks right now. I think Brian Poole may have gotten hurt. So you have no cornerbacks. Your defense wasn't anything that good to begin with. So I don't know. Like why not just wait until the end of the season if you're going to do it and I would just clean house. Like I don't know.
You don't think Avery Williamson was that big of a deal then?
What, getting traded? Well, yeah. I just feel like they wanted
they were cleaning house. I mean, he was his 7th year. He would sound like he's
they want a tank.
One of their better defenders.
Yeah,
so
younger too. But I think the thing with him too is think about who we're talking about. Maybe the players just don't like him.
Yeah, true. I guess you don't know.
Yeah, there's could be other character issues, shit like that. And with him, I wouldn't put it past it being a
Every
factor.
player that has left one of Gase's teams has prospered enough. That's true. Thanks guys. I'm second seed either way, win or lose. Okay. Well, that's good. At least I feel good about it. You don't have to. Even if you win tonight, it'd be nice to win, obviously. But if it doesn't matter either way, then hey,
At
I don't feel that
least,
bad.
at least the thing you can say about the Chargers, except for yesterday, which that does raise a question, but all of their losses were what wasn't it by one score? So like they were
I feel
always
like
in a
they've been
lot of
that way
games.
for
Yeah,
years.
and
Like
that's always
even
been a.
when Philip Rivers was
I
there.
agree. Well, but also though the difference is they out of every team, I don't know if it's the climate or what, but they are always injured by like week 4. All their
Yeah,
stars every year.
are gone.
They're that same exact team. So I feel bad for them in that sense, but they still
Wait,
have
Curtis
people like
Samuel has
Bosa.
COVID? I thought it
Oh,
was
that's
DJ
crazy.
Moore. Is it both of them?
I think it might be both of them now. I know DJ Moore news came out earlier, but
They placed 8 players on their
Oh my
reserve list.
gosh, that is not good.
yeah, Carolina's getting smacked.
They wide receivers DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Derek
Wow.
Brown, Zach Kerr, Shaq Thompson, Greg Little, Mike
So they
Palardo.
actually were they in close contact, or did they actually? I wonder if they tested positive. Does it say,
Um,
or they're just placed on the COVID list? Because
that
that's definitely
doesn't
going to
say.
factor in. Because if they were just in close contact, then they still have a chance to play. But if they tested positive, they're not going to play this week.
Well, Panthers website doesn't say. Oh, okay.
So,
Teams may not disclose whether a player has
okay.
tested positive or whether he is quarantined because of exposure.
Oh boy, so some crucial days then coming up here. If they didn't test positive, they definitely have a chance to play then. But if they tested positive, if both of them tested positive, was that a whole list of wide receivers? Maybe it was one wide receiver and then just they quarantine the rest of them. But
Those
then
were
why
all of
not
them.
Robbie Anderson? Wonder. Um, okay, so I guess we'll figure it out as the week progresses. We'll keep you updated.
Well, I think
Um,
it's they're not supposed to congregate at practices or anything, and they're supposed to be socially distanced still, like when they can. If they're not doing a play or like doing stuff together, they're supposed to be distanced. So that was the issue with Denver's quarterbacks, is they were literally all together doing whatever without masks whenever
mhm.
they would be hanging out, and that was the issue. So that's why they said no, you're all done then. So maybe that's not the issue with all of the Panthers wide receivers. Maybe those two are really good friends and they're always next to each other and they're not very whatever, you know. I don't know. Very strict rules, but I get it. As long as the season keeps going, I'm happy.
I know if the Jets draft Trevor Lawrence, he says he stay in school another year. So if the Jets want him, Gase has to go. I mean,
Maybe
if
ownership
I was
too.
Trevor Lawrence, I would not want to go to the Jets. I need Snell and Gibson to do well tonight to keep me close in my week 2 playoff match. Well, I think they'll at least. I don't think there's going to be like a big yardage day from the both of them, but those are two guys that could definitely score. Like those are probably the highest odds for scoring touchdowns for the respective teams because they'll have chances to score for sure. I just don't expect the yardage wise to be that good for either one of them. Last I saw on sports news, Carolina, they have 10 players now on COVID lists. Yeah. So, well, here's the thing is that Kyle just said it. They don't have to actually disclose if they actually tested positive or if they're in close contact with somebody. So, say those guys were kind of hanging out, one of them tested positive, they have to quarantine the rest of them. So, they won't let you know. So, it's going to be big, because I feel like the news will probably come out soon if somebody actually tested positive or not. Like we should probably figure that out soon. But at least if one of them didn't test positive and is just quarantining, or a couple of them are quarantining, then they still have a chance to play. But if they all tested positive, that's not good. That's not good because now the game will probably be in jeopardy if you're going to have players still testing positive. Not good news. So, that being said, if you have any other questions, feel free. We'll answer any questions you have, like always. Let's go ahead and get into the game tonight. So, first touchdown scorers. Have you guys looked at it? Because I have mine already. So, if you guys don't have yours, I'll go ahead and say mine.
I don't.
You go
All
ahead
right.
first.
All right, so I'll go first. I checked both DraftKings. Maybe it's changed. This was a few hours ago. I don't know if it's changed or not. But my first touchdown score for Pittsburgh is going to be. I like Benny Snell, but I went with Juju just because he's been scoring a decent amount. He has a pretty good matchup this week in the slot. Right now, over on DraftKings, it is 950, where I think on FanDuel it's 900. So a little bit better odds on DraftKings if you have the ability to do both. So I like Juju for Pittsburgh, and then for Washington, I just went the safe route and picked Gibson. I feel like if Washington is going to score first, it could be also like probably McLaurin as well. But I went with Gibson just because he's 800. Like I feel like those are pretty good odds for somebody that's scoring their touchdowns this year. So 800 for Washington for Gibson for Washington. Do you guys have yours?
I got mine.
All right, go ahead. Who
I
are your
told-
favorite?
Yeah, I told Cruz this morning. I was joking around about it, but I like it. Washington, Peyton Barber, plus 4,800 odds to be the first touchdown scorer. He sometimes poaches touchdowns from Gibson goal line.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, if Gibson rips off like a big one somehow, gets
Mhm.
tackled on the one, maybe Peyton Barber comes in, falls in the end zone.
Like a Wayne Gallman situation yesterday, and
Exactly.
Alfred Morris, Jesus.
Exactly like that. So I don't know. I think that's a fun one on the Washington side just because of how good the odds are. I don't know what it is on DK, but 4,800 I think is really good. And then on the Steelers side, I like Benny Snell at plus 850 odds. Don't know what it is on the good old DK, but that's where I'd go.
It's probably right around there. Mike Gesicki or TJ Hawkinson, week 14.
Hawkinson has Green Bay. I think I like that, and it's at Detroit. Galladay should be back.
And I think Gesicki, they play the Chiefs, don't they? I think Miami plays the
Yep.
Chiefs. So yeah, I would go Hawkinson. I'll be in third place if I lose tonight. So that's that. But I'm really hoping next week Russell Wilson doesn't lay an egg. So much regression. I don't think he will. Yeah, I think he'll be fine next week. He plays the Jets. He should be fine. Okay, if he's not fine next week, then we got some major issues here. But he should be fine. And how about that? Catch me outside. No,
I
just kidding.
don't like anything. I don't like Eric Ebron today in fantasy and in betting because Redskins, if you go look at them against tight ends, they do really well against tight ends. They've basically shut out tight ends for the last few weeks. So I was looking at it because I was curious about Eric Ebron's. He has 39.5 receiving yards as plus 100 odds for the over on that. And I was going to say he could have a big game, but after last week and then on top of that, I don't have that much confidence in it. But I would say I like Deontay Johnson over 6.5 receptions. I think he's going to be like nearing 10 today. I think Ben's going to really lean on him all day. Benny Snell, the odds aren't very. They're. I guess I don't really know if they'd be good or bad. I just don't. They're not really likable. I'll say that. So I don't really for at least rushing yards. But as far as I've looked, that's really all I know. Did you want to get into the first touchdown score, or do you want to wait on that?
We just did.
Oh, you did yours? I thought you were just doing player props. You already did first touchdown too? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't have one.
Bills are activating Milano for tonight's game against the 49ers. He's the linebacker, right? Is that who that is? I believe that's the linebacker for Buffalo. So wait, are you thinking? I just think that 49ers can run the ball on anybody. I mean, last week it wasn't that great against the Rams, but I just think that they'll be able to run the ball effectively. And I like the 49ers tonight. I think they. Would you all start Galladay over Robbie next week, or who do they play? I forget who they play. Who do the Carolina Panthers play? I just looked at it earlier today. Son
They
of
don't
a
play Minnesota, do they? No.
no, because they already played them.
Here, I'll look because I have Robbie Anderson in one of my DFS lineups that I'm already making.
Oh
He
yeah,
plays Denver.
Denver. I mean, if those two guys are out, I'd probably go Robbie Anderson. I feel like he'll be heavily targeted by Teddy Bridgewater. If Samuels and DJ Moore are out, I'd probably go Robbie. I think he's a really solid play then. And I'd imagine Kenny Golladay would probably see shadow coverage from Jair, I'd imagine. That's who they're playing, right? The Packers, you said?
Yep. Yeah, he'll probably have Jair, but I'm not saying he's matchup proof. I know Alexander's got to be a top 3 corner. Some would argue he's the best corner right now. But if you've been holding on to Golladay this long, I would just fire him up this week. Hope he gets 10 or more.
So I'll go ahead and say a couple of my bets here. So a couple of my bets. I like Antonio Gibson to go over 2.5 receptions. I feel like he has like 3 or 4 today. I feel like 2.5 is pretty good. And the odds were only like minus 118. So yeah. And then I also like Big Ben. Right now it's 276.5 for his passing yards, and I feel like he'll go under that. I don't like the over. I think that's a lot of passing yards, Big Ben, against a pretty solid defense as well. Do you think he'll go under that, Kyle, or do you think he'll go over?
Probably under, because I think they're going to try to run the ball a lot. So I don't feel like they're going to really. But if the run game isn't working, then definitely I could see the over for sure. And
Well, I think that they'll throw the ball a ton, but I just don't expect it to be that.
I think that if they want to have, first of all, they have the Bills and they have the Colts coming up, and then they have the postseason coming up. Also, the Browns, who honestly that game could be really important, and they're not a joke anymore. I think a lot of people, since they played them last time, I know I've written them off, but if Nick Chubb's healthy,
With the Clowns,
they can at least run the ball on you, and I think they could run the ball on the Steelers effectively. But my point is, I think that they're going to try to establish the run game for the next few weeks because they really want to start to get it going. And I think
they need to.
Tomlin said last week he really liked what he saw from Snell. So I think that even when James Conner comes back, you're going to start to see a lot more Benny Snell, and that's a good thing. And I think they will get going. And the last thing I'll say about it, that it could put Roethlisberger over, and why anything reception-wise I'd put him over, is they're starting to do what they used to do with Le'Veon and James Conner early in his career. Just dump the ball off. They split out. They're in pass protection. They don't have anybody to block. All their assignments are taken, and they just split out, and they're open, and Ben just dumps the ball off. It's an extension of the run game, too. So I think you're going to see a lot of that. That's why I also smash the over on Benny Snell receptions, because I think they're going to do that a little bit today.
So real quick, we got a question in the chat. What are some good RBs on waiver to grab? I'm stuck with, man, this is not a good. The waiver wire this week is not going to be good. I'm telling you.
Ty Johnson.
Ty Johnson would be the only one I would even consider picking up. I'd imagine probably Frank Gore might play though next week, but still, he's really the only one. Like there's nobody, unfortunately. Like waiver wire this week is not good. Probably won't be really that good. It's just I feel sorry for it because there's not many players. Hopefully though, because we were big on Cam Akers. Like I was telling people, pick him up like 2 weeks ago. Pick him up if he was available. Devontae Booker was kind of an obvious one, but I've been just saying that kind of for weeks. Like pick up the guys that are one injury away from being a bell cow. So, I mean, obviously you probably can't pick up Benny Snell, but guys like that, Alexander Madison, even Jordan Wilkins again, like if he's back and available, pick him up. Because if something happens to Jonathan Taylor, it's going to be Nyheim Hines and him. So guys like that just are one injury away, those are your best shots. But if you need someone to play, Ty Johnson's probably your best bet to play next week. All right. So, who do we think is going to win today? Oh, well, real quick. Did you see the tweet that I sent out of Colin Cowherd? I thought that was funny. Not even so much for like being a Steelers fan, but I just thought it was funny because he was saying how last week he was like, "Wake up, Steelers fans, cry in your terrible tower."
And then he said that the Titans are better, and then the Browns might even be better. So he said the Titans are better than the Browns. That's
and
basically
then
what he was saying.
Go watch the clip. It's 12 seconds, but he says you guys are getting worse, whereas the Seattle Seahawks are getting better. And I was like, oh, this didn't age well there, Colin.
Yikes.
And
And the
I tweeted it
Chiefs,
at him.
and nobody should have watched the Chiefs last night and said, man, they are unstoppable.
Well,
Like,
I'll tell you
at
why.
times they can be. I don't doubt that.
Well,
But they
here
can
was
be
the issue
slowed
with
down.
last night, though. This was the issue with last night. And it was the issue with Pittsburgh the previous week, is that Pittsburgh just couldn't score. They got in the red zone so many times, but they just couldn't score
And
touchdowns.
drop
It was the same with,
passes.
well, that's what happened. Is they would get close, drop passes, they would kill the drives. That's what happened with the Chiefs. They were in so many scoring
Well, you got to give
opportunities, but
credit
they
to the
just couldn't score.
Broncos too. The Broncos
Score. But
executed a lot too. But
okay,
my point is that if the Chiefs play like that, or I feel like that's kind of like, unless they're playing a team that they light up early, then that's kind of like the game they're in for the rest of. But who's better? I mean, the Broncos defense or the Steelers defense, and who can execute more in splash plays or make you pay for that, and not to mention who has a better offense. But I digress. That's not my
Drew
point.
Lock is
I will say
that's
this. This is the last stat. I think Drew Lock is better than I expected. He still sucks, but he's a competitive guy, and I like him as a person. But anyways, I wanted to say
you
this is a
know him.
crazy stat, just because it's Steelers and we're already talking about the Chiefs. So the last 4 weeks, the Chiefs have won by. Well, let me start with the Steelers because it's more shocking on the Chiefs side. Last 4 weeks, the Steelers have won by a combined 60 points. The Chiefs, guess how many?
15.
You already looked.
No, I didn't.
That's
Is
exactly
it really
what it is.
15?
Yeah, it's exactly
Oh
15.
shit!
But think about that.
Hey,
That's less than a one possession game every game. Yesterday that game could have changed at any point. The Bucks game that could have changed at any point. Even though they were blowing away the Bucks early, at the end of that game, Pat Mahomes, that thing he threw that off his back foot just like Ben Roethlisberger throw. If that would have got picked, the Bucks would have been in the red zone. They scored a touchdown. They're only down by 3 points with minutes. Like, it was like 5+ minutes left in the game. So the Chiefs aren't unstoppable, which I see a lot of people in the media saying today, and I just want to say that. And the Steelers aren't either. The Steelers could lose today, for all I know. There's a chance. I think the Redskins or the sorry, oops, I'm racist. The Washington football team, they could put up a good fight today. I think. Do you want predictions, full on number and predictions?
well, let's let Giggs at least say something.
Yeah,
No,
I got
he's
some
a
player
Lions
props I
fan.
like
Oh, don't you want to say anything about that though?
about.
Start Aaron Jones over Booker? Hell yeah, you guys start Aaron Jones over
Oh,
Booker.
the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Jones will be RB1 this week.
Aaron,
Maybe Derrick Henry, but I think it's gonna be Aaron Jones.
oh, against the Lions, right? No,
We'll
well, I
talk.
will say this is, did you see what Kyle Brandt said today as
Yeah,
well? Kyle Brandt, I liked what he said today. And once again, I'm not saying that the Steelers are the best team in the NFL.
me
Honestly, it's
neither.
them or the Chiefs. It's really close. But
Or the
like
Saints. The
everybody,
Saints are so fucking good when they have Breeze. If they have Breeze.
everybody keeps shitting on the Steelers, saying that they play nobody. Who has the Chiefs really played? Like, let's be honest. Like, they're the best teams in the league. The Chiefs lost to the Raiders, who the Raiders should have lost to the fucking Jets, okay? And then they struggled another time against the Raiders. Like, let's stop saying that the Chiefs are this, because I'll tell you what, their defense is not that good. Their defense is not that good. Their defense is getting crushed against the ground this year. Absolutely demolished against ground. And I'll say this about Patrick Mahomes: the dude's amazing, and he can definitely carry the Chiefs to the playoffs and to the Super Bowl. Basically, has already done it. But their defense this year is not as good as their defense last year. Their defense last year was actually really good as well. So I just think that's also um, kind of what's going on there with the Chiefs. But they're still a really good team. Don't get me wrong. They should have blown out the freaking Broncos last night, but they just couldn't score touchdowns, and that's what happens. And that's what the Steelers couldn't score against the Ravens. They were there like 20 times, dude, and they just couldn't score a touchdown. So a team can beat any other team any day. It's just any given Sunday is what they always say. But anyways, so let's talk about some player props. Yes, me personally, well, I already said mine. I like Gibson, 2.5 receptions. And I do like the Steelers -6. I think that the Steelers win by a touchdown. I have it 24-17 Pittsburgh. That's my score, my prediction. So I think that they win by a full touchdown. So I like the I like Steelers -6. What about you? Well, real quick, CMC will be back, so don't forget about him. Yes, he will be back. So if you kept him all season and you're still in the playoffs, congratulations to you, because what a feat that is. With CMC on basically IR all season for you, and you're still in the playoffs, congratulations. Watching Tyreek Hill grab 2 touchdowns and then have yeah, I don't know what the hell that was like. Even Al Michaels said it. Like, it was such a weird sequence because everybody has said it. Like, anytime a receiver doesn't even catch the ball, he's like, dude, I fucking caught that ball. And like, for him, there's not even like, that's where you're like, man, the NFL's fixed. I'll tell you what, because no, I'm just kidding. But that was such a weird sequence. Like, how did he not even think he caught that ball? So weird. Should I start Deontay Johnson? It depends on over who, but I do like Deontay Johnson.
You heard it here first, though. Tony Gonzalez and Michael Vick. They just said a couple minutes ago. Tony Gonzalez said they have a serious shot to go undefeated, and Michael Vick said that they're the best team in the National Football League right now. And he's
All right,
unbiased
Gig,
because he's a dog. I mean, he kills dogs.
Who are some of your favorite player props?
For me, I'm looking at J.D. McKissick receiving yards at 22.5. I like the over. Logan Thomas, 24.5 receiving yards. I like the over on that as well. And I'm with you. I wasn't a big fan of -6.5, but at -6, I'll take that for Pittsburgh, and I think they do win today. So, and I'm not touching the over/under. I'm not quite sure if I like that one or not. And if I were going to pick one, I'd probably go over, but I'm probably not touching that.
What is it at? What did you say it's at? Is it at 43?
It was at 40.
Is it 44?
If it moved to 43, I'm pretty sure I saw it at 44.5.
I think the
43.5 right
43.5. Okay.
Over is -115 odds. The under is -105.
Okay. I think
So,
the
yeah,
one tonight
I guess
is
I go
47.
47.5 for tonight. Yep.
Yeah.
And Buffalo's +2.5. Buffalo's underdogs.
What? They're +2.5?
Mm-hmm.
That
That'll move.
Because they earlier, well, at least on DraftKings, they're +1. That's crazy.
It's Stefano putting the house on San Francisco.
Well, today okay, that's crazy because San Francisco was +1 on DraftKings, so that's pretty crazy. All right, so Antonio Gibson. Wait, we got a question here. So Browns just claimed. I saw that Browns just got Marvin Hall off of waivers. I mean, they need some help. Who do they have? Rashard Higgins and what's his name? Pope. That guy. I forget what his full name is.
Peoples-Jones.
Or Peoples-Jones, whatever his name is.
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Who's that?
Oh, I just thought of a waiver wire pickup. Samaj Perine, because Geos look like trash. If Mixon misses another week or two, Perine might be getting the bulk of the carries and stuff now. That's if you're really hurting.
Got Juju, Beasley, or Ayuk full PPR. I'd go Juju full PPR. I feel like he'll have a decent amount of catches today, especially in full PPR and chance of touchdown. Antonio Gibbs is going to be the leading TD or the leading touchdown leader after today. Who is the current touchdown? Where's he at? I'd imagine, is it Derrick Henry? Is he the leading touchdown scorer?
For running back?
Yeah.
I think it's Dalvin Cook.
Oh, is it Dalvin Cook? Oh, yeah, Dalvin Cook, 13. Antonio Gibson. So he has to score 4 touchdowns to be the – no, he has to score 3 touchdowns to be the leader today. You think he's going to score 3 tutties? Well, if you think he's going to score 3 tutties, you better be playing him in fantasy football. I don't think he's going to score.
Bet the 2-time any touchdown.
Yeah, bet that. Put the house on that if you think he's going to be the touchdown leader after today.
I'll tell you what they'll pay you. To score 2+ on Gibson, that's plus 850 odds.
That's 850 odds. Is that one that you can do in like a same game parlay too? Can you do that? Or is that you just have to do single?
You can.
Can you? Really? That's crazy.
Wait. Oh, no, that's half. First half, second half. No, just first touchdown. Damn.
So I'm gonna do a parlay for the people since Ryan isn't here, real quick, because I have gigs. If you have one too, you can feel free as well. My parlay for the people would be Benny Snell, anytime touchdown score. Um, Antonio Gibson to go. I believe it was over because where did I have it? I think I had it on my ticket, and then I just exited out of it, so I don't have it anymore. But it was Benny Snell to go, or Benny Snell any touchdown score, Antonio Gibson to go over for receiving yards, which I think is last I saw. Is it 15 or is it even less than that?
Gibson, you can't put that in the parlay, I don't think.
What, his receiving?
Oh, there it is. He is 18.5.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I didn't even have that. So I have it now. So I have Benny Snell anytime touchdown score, Steelers spread -6, and then Ben Roethlisberger under. Oh, it's going down now, 273. It was at 276 earlier today, but I still like the under. I feel like he passes for like 250 today, so 273. $10 to win you $61. There's the parlay for the people. Hey, I do think Benny Snell will score a touchdown today, though. I feel pretty confident about that. As long as he's healthy. If he scores 3 touchdowns, I'll make him my keeper for next year. Well, who are your keepers? Because that is important right now. We're getting to that range where, keepers are going to start becoming a big factor, and you can kind of pick your keepers now. Like, I think I got Gibson in, I think like the 7th round this year, 8th round, one of those two. He's probably going to be my keeper next year as of right now. Or depending on how J.K. Dobbins finishes out the year, he might be one of mine as well. Because I do think he's going to have a really good year next year if he's the guy. So what do you guys think? Who wins tonight? What's the final score?
I think that the Washington football team. I think that I don't know. I don't really want to give one, to be completely honest with you, because
You have to.
I know the reason why I don't is because I'm I'm a little bit
Then be the guy that picks.
Listen,
the
I'm not
Washington football team.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little bit stitious.
Oh, Michael Scott, Michael Scarn.
No, but I just don't want to. I do feel like the Steelers. I mean, these games. Like if they want to keep the 1 seed, they're all must wins. So I obviously want to say that they're going to win. I don't think it's going to be easy. So I think it's going to be like a 24 to 17 win or something like that. I think would be my guess.
I'll say this. Last week I said on the stream, I said I didn't feel too confident about the Steelers crushing the Ravens last week. I did not like it. Today, I feel confident that they will beat up on the. I was about to say it. The Washington football team.
It's
I feel pretty
to get
good.
It out of your head.
It is because you go your entire life of saying it.
Yeah.
So, I do think that they will beat up on the red. Dang it! I was about to say it again. Damn it! The Washington football team. Well, they just changed their damn name.
I'm sure they will this offseason.
Yeah,
come up
they
with
will.
Something.
It was short.
It's sick too. I was thinking about the other day. They need to do something like all the other teams do. The Capitals, the Nationals. They need to do something like that.
Giggs, what about you? Who do you think? Steelers get their first L today. Oh man, Dark Winter. Come on, man. Get them out of the chat. No, I'm just kidding. They could lose today. I hope they lose one game.
You know
I don't
what,
want them
Dark
to go
Winter, for saying that? You're out of here. Just kidding. I'm not actually kicking you, but look at that. It's just too funny. Yeah, go.
I'll watch it. Giggs, who do you think is gonna win?
I'm gonna go Steelers. I'm gonna go 27-21. That's gonna be final score. It's gonna be a push.
It's gonna be a push, you think?
Now I'll go and change my score. 27-17.
Ooh, 10. Okay. That's honestly, that was close. I was gonna go 28-17 for my earlier prediction, but I was like, I don't know if the Steelers score that much. I feel like they'll score like around 24. I felt pretty comfortable around. But no, that is a good one. That's the one I used for Tyler Boyd. You're out of here.
You're out of here.
He says you can read his lips. He says something like,
He goes, all right. It's like he's like done.
yeah,
Or boom. He goes, boom,
yeah. He goes, boom. That's what he says. He goes,
boom. You're out.
you're out of
Or
here.
I think he says, see ya. I think that's what he does when he gets here. He goes, boom, see ya.
We have a couple questions here. So Washington gets Westbrook too. What do you think about that, Giggs? How do you like? Do you like that?
This whole thing is just falling apart. I mean, Washington, they're getting rid of John Wall. I don't know if that was really worth it. I just know that, like, for the Rockets right now, James Harden wants nothing to do with that organization. I don't think he wants to play with John Wall. So Russell Westbrook getting out of there is good for him. But as far as the Wizards go, you're getting an inefficient scorer. I mean, Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook's cool and all, but I don't know if that's going to do it for him. If Westbrook shoots efficiently, he's one of the best players in the league. But if he's not shooting efficiently, he doesn't do enough to, like, warrant being on your team. You can't have guys who can't shoot the three. Simple as that.
Currently my keeper is Will Fuller in the 4th, but I got Gibson in the 7th. I would go Gibson, dude, honestly. Will Fuller, he's a stud, but I feel like you could probably get him around the 4th again, because if his 1-game suspension holds up, and I'll tell you what, the dude has been injury plagued for his whole career. And now all of a sudden this year, when they need him the most, he doesn't have any soft tissue. And it wasn't like big injuries he'd have. He'd always have soft tissue injuries, a hamstring, a groin, a quad, something like that. Now, all of a sudden this year, he's fine. Yes, because he tested for PEDs. He's using steroids, and basically, I feel like that's why he had such a good season. This not a good season, but he was healthy. So I think next year they'll be testing him a lot, and I just think that next year he's going to have some of the soft tissues again, injuries again. Carlson thing.
You want to see a picture of the guy that?
Hold on, I got to answer. Keenan Allen, A-Rob, McLaurin, AJ. Who'd you say? Keenan Allen. Okay. Whoever Giggs said, I'm sure is right. Who does Tennessee play next week? I forget. Jacksonville, yeah. Oh my gosh, what a dream matchup.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure and Keenan Allen gets Atlanta. So like, those are two really cake matchups. I would go both of those guys.
I'm a football team and Wizards fan and a Raiders fan. Yeah, I was about to say, MP, you're definitely a Raiders fan. You always talk up Josh Jacobs, and you keep saying Derek Carr is the best quarterback to ever play.
MP's a Raiders fan? I didn't know.
Are you guys staying live during the first game in 7 minutes? No, we're not going to stay live. We're going to end the stream, and then we'll be live again tonight from 7:30 with Stefano tonight. So with Stefano from 7:30 till game time, 8:20, 8:15, whatever it is. We'll be live with Stefano, so make sure you tune back. Now that one, I don't know how big because sometimes I think that it's going to be pretty big, but it might, like, chat might be really going, because I know that there's a lot of girls that don't tune into the stream that are tuning into the stream tonight just because of Stefano. So there might be a decent amount of people in here. So if you have questions, we'll definitely try to answer all the questions you have, but I'd imagine that some of his fans will probably be coming in too. So hopefully we can answer all the questions you have, but we'll try to, okay? It'll be crazy and it'll be fun. It'll be an exciting time. So why not Allen Robinson? Who does Allen Robinson play next?
He plays Houston. Allen Robinson's a fine play as well. I just think
those are really good options.
Yeah, you have too good of options. That's your problem. The problem isn't, like, you can't beat yourself up if you don't get that one right, because you have guys who could go for 10, you have guys who go for 25. Like,
right.
I like AJ Brown's. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Keenan Allen's seeing so many targets. Like last week, it was definitely a terrible game, but it was a terrible game for the entire team. But against Atlanta, yeah, Atlanta, give me that matchup all day. Like, that dude's, like, honestly, probably, like, he could end up as wide receiver one next week.
This is MP coming in here saying he's a Raiders fan after yesterday. You'll see it on the screen.
I like Josh Jacobs, Waller, Westbrook, and Gibson. Man, Waller yesterday was a beast. That dude was... My gosh, if you didn't play him in DFS, no, that would have been him if they would have lost.
Well, it was still just as bad.
We told him to play him. You're
And
uninspired.
DFS. Yeah, Giggs, he said it.
I said Montgomery. I said Waller. So those are guys you want. And if you're paying up, you go Adams. But real quick, another reason why I like Keenan Allen and then AJ Brown. Jags have given up 26 passing touchdowns, and they're fourth for most yards given up. And then if you look at the Falcons, they're second on yards given up, and they've given up 24 passing touchdowns. So I just think it's a really good matchup for receivers for both of them.
For both of them, yeah.
If you look at,
And
or if you look at
Houston-
the screen,
Houston's
is
given
that?
up a lot too, but not as much.
that's the guy that Will Fuller was getting his supplements from. What a coincidence! That he's probably on the roids himself. Hey, dude, I promise these won't show up on the drug test. Trust me, bro. He used to play in the league, and if you go look at him, he wasn't that big. He's much bigger now than he was when he played in the NFL.
Well, it just all seemed a bit fishy. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, like we already said, Will Fuller was always hurt, and then this year magically nothing. Come on,
They're
something's not
magically
right
delicious.
there. I'm a Packers fan, man. I'll tell you what, the Packers look. They had one. They didn't even look that good against Jacksonville. See, the NFL is just really weird this year. Like you have these teams that they look so good one week, and then the next week they just. I mean, that's really it every year, but this year especially. Like I don't know who the hell to like this year, especially in the NFC. Like probably the Saints. They're probably playing the best, but so are the Rams. Did just lose to San Francisco, didn't they? So it's like, oh gosh, I don't even know who to really like. I feel like the Saints, though. Do you think who's your favorites come out of the NFC?
I think the Rams are great, but their offense needs to be great. Like if their
Well,
offense
it
isn't,
comes down to Goff.
yeah, no, and
Which Goff is going to show up?
yeah, if he shows up
But
every week
they
like
did
he
get
did
their-
this week, then I think
They
he's
got
one of
him,
the better quarterbacks.
like basically not passing the ball. They got to the Super Bowl with them.
Right.
Who do you think, Giggs? Who's your favorites come out of the NFC?
I was just telling Cruz this morning, like I don't have any confidence in teams in the NFC. There's one, it would be New Orleans, but like Green Bay, I'm not really sold. And then the Rams, I don't know what to think of them. Yeah, they have a good defense, but like you guys just said, we getting a good Jared Goff or we getting shitty Jared Goff? Because it all comes down to him. Everything's in place. He just needs to make the offense go. Like Arizona, I'm not really big on them.
And
And
see,
then the
how can you have?
Seahawks. The
yeah.
Seahawks have looked like shit lately.
Well-
I don't know. Their defense, they have great linebackers. They have a couple guys on the defensive line, but they can't stop the pass. So
The Seahawks,
I don't see them doing it.
the Seahawks aren't in the playoff picture anymore. They still have a chance.
They have the Jets next week. They'll be right back in it. But
You know who's
No, I
in
thought
it?
that they were.
No, you know who's in it over them now? The Vikings.
No, because
Yeah,
they're.
the Vikings. They were showing it
yeah,
on
the
the other
Vikings
day.
are technically in.
Yeah,
now,
the Vikings are actually technically in it right
What?
now. Yeah. So the Vikings actually do have a genuine shot, and I do think,
No.
but their defense is terrible.
The Vikings are because the. Who were
They're
you
in
saying?
the hunt.
Seattle. Seattle's 8-4. Oh, okay. Who were you saying?
We're talking about the Cardinals.
Oh, the Cardinals. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Seattle.
Yeah,
Yes,
no.
you're right. Yeah, but the Vikings have some really tough games coming up.
I don't think their offense is great, but their defense is awful. Well, and their
They've
offense,
also
same
been playing
question,
some really
too.
bad teams lately.
Jared Goff, and I think Kirk Cousins is way better than Jared Goff, but when does he show up? He doesn't always show up. I don't think he's always to blame either. I think he gets a lot of the blame for shit that's not his fault. I think he's much better than people say he is.
Who wins the NFC East, real quick? As last thing, you think the Giants?
Giants have been my pick the past couple
If
weeks.
they
and
can
stick
win
with
without
it.
Colt McCoy, yeah. Or with Colt
The
McCoy.
defense is pretty good.
Yeah.
They got some good pieces. So, and that real quick, and I do want to say, so did you see Pro Football Focus's thing? They said that Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the NFC East.
Yeah. Well, it was
Like-
the guy that said this Big Ben's holding the Steelers back. It's the same guy. I think
And then-
he's like a Colin Cowherd of PFF.
And then there was another guy today. I was listening to it. He said that Justin Jefferson deserves to be the offensive player or rookie offensive player of the year, like regardless if you agree or whatever. But then he said, who else who else does the Vikings have? They have Kirk Cousins, and who else? He didn't even say Dalvin Cook. I was like, what the fuck are you smoking, dude? What, like, who's
Adam
more,
Thielen.
who's better to that offense? Dalvin Cook or Kirk Cousins? Like, come on. In my opinion, Dalvin Cook is the offense. If he doesn't get going, sure. Sometimes they can still win. Obviously, they played Jacksonville last week. He
I think
didn't really
Adam
get going, but come on.
Thielen's
Let's be
all of
for
Kirk
real.
Cousins' offense. Anytime Kirk Cousins gets going, it's because of Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. I'm not saying he's not good, but those two they're number ones. You have two number ones on your team. So I think that's ridiculous. Who do they have? No. Plus the defensive side, they're just terrible. They're so depleted. They don't have anybody they used to have a few years ago when they were one of the top defenses. Anybody besides Kendricks? Is that how you say his last name?
I don't even know who they have anymore, to be honest. What's your take, Giggs? You think Jalen Hurts best quarterback in NFCs? I mean, there's not much to really say, but to say he's the best quarterback after 2 quarters of football, like, come on. Let's give him a full game before you can make that.
I wouldn't say that. No. All honesty, I might still put Andy Dalton over him. But I like Danny Dimes, so
we gotta
too.
just slow the, and plus let's not forget Dak is technically still in this division. So like I get you're probably saying quarterbacks that are playing, but at the same time, like, come on, like let's just not go crazy.
It's on Fox.
So with that being said, thank you guys. Make sure you tune in about 2.5 hours. We'll be live with Stefano, baby. Stefano. So thank you for tuning in with us. Just a little short show. We got to practice.
Jacobs is not coming back.
Got to get our jitter. So thank you guys for watching and good luck. We'll see you later. Bye.